Alright, what's going on, everybody? This is Bio here, and right off the bat here, don't worry about the gameplay too much. I'm not going to be focusing on it so much. You can probably already tell by the title of this video. This is just from like a quick scoping lobby I had maybe a couple months ago. So, although I do hope you enjoy it. But anyways, just kind of delve right into things here. Going to be talking about something that might just make the hair on the back of your neck stand up just a wee bit, Letty in. And yeah, so I've always really enjoyed stories, both telling them and hearing about them. And for me personally, I really can get to know someone through stories that are being told, not only in what the content of the story is, but how it's being told as well. Although don't want to kind of delve into that aspect too much, and I'm definitely no psychologist or psychiatrist. So, but yeah, so feel free to comment in the comment section below, letting me know about things that you've experienced as well. But I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. So just kind of jump right into it here. Got two different stories that I want to share with you guys about probably the creepiest experiences I've had in my life. The first one comes from when I was about 7 years old, and I'm just going to give you the setup here. So it's about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. A huge storm just rolled through. Huge thunderstorm just rolled through, knocked out our power. And at least I believe they knocked out our power. I can't remember all the details, but I'm pretty sure it was out. We always lost power whenever there's a storm. I don't know if there was just like a bad layout to the system, the grid, but we always lost power whenever there was a storm. So it's about 3 or 4 in the morning. Don't have power. I'm lying in bed. My bed faces 2 windows that look out into my backyard. The foot of the bed faces those 2 windows, and the headboard is against the same wall where my door is, and to my left is a closet as well. Just kind of giving you something to pour over with your mind's eye. But so I start hearing this very distinct noise, and I say distinct because there's a lot of noises going on right now from that storm that just came through. You know, it's still pretty windy, so branches are snapping and trees are hitting together, and a bunch of other noises. You know, water's dripping, things like that. And I start hearing this very distinct noise, and it's really far away at this point. I can barely make it out, but it sounds different than everything else. So I kind of start honing in on it, and I can tell that it's getting louder, getting closer. And I'm listening to it, and it's like this thudding sound. And I listen to it longer, and man, I can tell it's very distinct. And there's a couple hits in it. It's not just like one sound. It's just like this da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. And I'm like, man, you know what? It sounds like a horse, which doesn't make any sense to me because that was a very urban area, number one. And number two, my backyard was adjacent with a ton of other backyards, and none of those people had horses, and there was tons of fences everywhere, so a horse wouldn't just randomly made it out there because those were pretty tall fences. But I still hear that thudding, and it's getting closer, and then all of a sudden it sounds like it's in my backyard, so I'm freaking out at this point, sweating, lying in bed, you know, got the covers over my head probably, and I'm just listening. I'm like, what is that? Why is it getting closer? And all of a sudden, it's louder and louder and louder, and oh crap, it's freaking right outside my window. So at this point, I book it out of my room, go inside to my parents' room, and I shouldn't say go inside. I waited outside their door because demon horse or not, you don't just charge inside your parents' room at 4 in the morning, waking them up. So I had a very good reason. And my mom was only home at the time because my dad worked 3rd shift. And so I go into there, and it took me a while to decide whether or not I wanted to, but I decided to go in. I wake up my mom and said, "Mom, I think I said this. I think there's something outside. Can you take a look?" or something like that. And she was kind of in a daze because I just woke her up at 4 in the morning. And she just basically said, "No, just go back to bed. It's nothing, just a storm." So I go back into my room, and apparently 7-year-old me had pretty big balls because I decided to look out the window to see if I can see anything or hear anything. But I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything else after that. And I looked all around. It was still the occasional flash of lightning from the storm far away, so occasionally I got a good look. But otherwise it was pretty dark, so I really couldn't tell too much. But I feel like it wasn't a dream because I remember pretty vividly the details of it. And all of it, there doesn't really seem to be any skips because with dreams there's a lot of discontinuity. So there's that, and then also I feel like I didn't imagine the noise because it was a very continuous, elongated noise. It wasn't just some random, noise out of nowhere. It was about 20-30 seconds, and it gradually got closer and closer and got louder and increased in intensity. So I don't know what happened. Honestly, it may have been a dream. I don't feel like it was, but who knows? Could have just been 7-year-old me making up stuff. But the other story I want to tell kind of hits a little closer to home, and this one actually happened only about 2 weeks ago. Happened in our apartment that we're living at right now. So school just got out, and me and my roommate Dave, Night of Light, we're packing for a trip up north, probably about 4 or 5 hours of driving up. We're packing for a trip, and I go into the kitchen to make something to eat or get something to drink, something like that. And I'm about to head back into my room when Dave pops out of his room, and he looks at me and says, "Josh, can you check this out?" and his voice kind of had a little bit of a waver to it, and I could tell he was a little shaken, which to me kind of makes me a little shaken too, because Dave doesn't really get scared about much anything. So I go into the room, and he points to the closet. Go to the closet, and I look inside, I don't see anything. I'm like, "What's up, Dave?" And he points up, and I look up. At this point, I'm going to leave you guys hanging for a second here, because I need to kind of give some supporting details. So when we moved into the place, it's an apartment. When we moved into it, we checked everything out, we scoped everything out. We kind of got the layout of the place. It's 4 bedrooms, upstairs, downstairs, common area, kitchen, 2 bathrooms. We checked it out, and once we moved in and we started living there, we became acquainted more so with the place. I mean, obviously, there's certain things you can only know about a place once you've been living there for so long. So, you know, we know where the floorboards squeak, how we can open doors, or where to put pressure into doors so they don't squeak as much when we open them. What other things, like how hard we can close like the fridge and things like that without making stuff shake. You know, a ton of these little minor details that you can only really know once you've been at a place long enough. You know, how loud we can be without pissing off our neighbors. That's an important one. But anyways, so we know all these things. And so when I looked up into Dave's closet, there was something there that definitely wasn't the way it was when we moved in. So I look up and I see an attic door. And it's not really a door, it's just something that fit inside of a hole to keep the attic closed off unless you wanted to get in. But I look up and I see this door is open, and it's not just a little crack, but it's probably a good 4 inches open, which I think is like about 10 centimeters. Actually, it's more than that. No, it's about 10 centimeters. So about 10 centimeters open for 4 inches. And I look up, I'm like, what? How? What? Because this thing fit inside of the hole. It didn't just sit on top of it. So to open it, you need to put a good deal of force underneath it, pushing up. So, you know, the house shaking or thunder or even an earthquake wouldn't have been able to do this unless it's a really big earthquake, which we don't get in Michigan. So I look at Dave and I'm like, how? What? And Dave I look at him, he's got like goosebumps, and he's kind of shaking a little bit. I'm like, I can tell it really kind of set him off kilter. And so I'm like, Dave, we got to take a look. We can't just, you know, leave the stone unturned, basically. Because I was, at the time, going through my brain was, I had just heard a story on Reddit about 3-4 weeks previously that someone had a homeless person sneak into their house when they left the door unlocked, and they started living in their attic without that person who lived there knowing about it. And they started hearing random noises at night, and they're like, what the heck is that? And, you know, come to find out there's a homeless person there. So that's what's running through my mind. I'm like, did someone get into our attic? What's going on here? So, but I go up, we get a couple boxes, I stack them on top of each other, I take a look. There's nothing up there, just a whole lot of dust. A lot of dust. So, but, you know, that's just something you got to do to kind of appease yourself, number one, and number two, just to make certain that there is nothing up there. There's no one up there or something. No, but yeah, so that definitely kind of set us off for the rest of the night. Dave didn't get much sleep for that after that, but so that's kind of what I'm getting at, guys. If you have any experiences that are what related to that, or have any semblance to that, let me know about it. I want to hear it. I love stories, love hearing about things like that. If you have to make it a couple comments long, just reply to yourself, that's totally fine. Or if you want to condense it down into like a Spark Notes version, that's totally fine too. Feel free, but let me know. I'm curious to hear what you guys have experienced. So I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.